warm up. So at some point, indecision hits all of us. You get stuck trying to choose your path. And in the case of bodybuilding or weightlifting or just getting in shape, turning into a freak, it seems to be a very common issue. Now, the thing about indecision is it can oftentimes lead us to do nothing at all. If I don't know what to do, sometimes the best thing to do is just not do anything at all. Or at least that's how it seems. When actually, that's like the worst idea. Are you training for size? Are you training for strength? Are you bulking or cutting? Hypertrophy or max out? All decisions you're going to have to make. Where are my weak points? What kind of split am I trying to run? Am I doing a 5x5? Am I doing a bro split? Who should I listen to? Who do I want to look like? All decisions that can lead us down very different paths. And it can be very tempting at times just to kind of not really pick one. But then what ends up happening is you sort of float in the middle. You start getting chunky on your cut because you think you look a little small, but then you stop bulking because you start to lose your abs, and you end up just the same sort of middle ground weight you always were. Or you start training for hypertrophy, but then you feel weak, so you start training heavier, but then you don't feel like you're getting as much of a pump, so then you start going back to hypertrophy, and you never make any progress. Spotter view. Feel free to shout things like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." As I was saying, feel free to shout things like, "Oh, you bro, and you got this," at the screen while I warm up with this 135. But here's the deal. One of the things you need to remember is that fitness is a journey and a destination, but also a journey. You're always going to be changing, always improving, always sort of shifting up the way you look and the things that you're going to need to do in order to get there. It's a good analogy for life, but we're just talking about fitness right now. And if it's a journey, you got to think about how you get directions when you're on a journey. You don't memorize every single turn you have to make. You know the turn you're on and where you're going. And that's how you should look at this journey. Instead of thinking, oh, I got to bulk and then cut and then cut and then bulk, and I'll train for hypertrophy now, and then later it'll leave me enough time to train for strength, and then I'll go for hypertrophy again as my strength starts to increase. And right now, I'm cutting. I eventually want to be bigger and stronger. Maybe in a while I can figure out how to do that, but for now, goal for right now and a goal for a long time down the road. Move that so I can chat. One more. Just let it sit there a minute. You know, really iron out the pecs. It's good. The key is to let it crush you just enough. You can't breathe. And maybe get a boner. If that's your thing. The other thing that can help is keeping track of your progress in a realistic and sort of tangible way. You know, I'm far from looking like what I want to look like, but I look a shit ton better than I used to. Meaning, while I may not be doing everything totally right, the decisions I have made at least a positive difference. Whatever you do, don't worry about what other people think you should be doing. I'm not saying don't take advice. I mean, caveat, don't take my advice. I don't know nothing about nothing. I am not an expert in anything. Maybe science. I do know science. But other than that, my life advice is not worth anything. Look at me. You're not really a role model, but you do want to try my shit, go for it. That being said, if you want to like follow other people's directions, you don't make the same mistakes they did, that's dope. But don't worry if someone says you're doing things wrong. Maybe it's wrong for them. Maybe they got a different goal than you. Or maybe just, ooh, that sickening angle. Very suggestive. Or maybe, just maybe, you're both right. Or you're both wrong. I had a buddy who told me you should always bench with the widest grip possible. That's wrong. But he was also huge. So I took his advice for a long time. Turns out, me thinking he was wrong was also kind of wrong. Because he was also sort of right. I don't know where I was going with that. But don't worry about other people think. Worst comes to worst. At the end of the day, just make a decision. Any random decision. Who cares? Just do something. In the game of life, none of it really matters anyway. And anything you do can always be made up for later. Because it's not your problem later. That's a future you problem. And fuck that guy. And remember, it's not supposed to be easy. That's why I feel so fucking good. Stay freaky, boys.